Ji, welcome to another class of history. As we were discussing about the industrial revolution of Britain, so key moment in the early years of the industrial revolution. First of all, the first point was that the improving of the steam engine, which was done by James Watt and Matthew Boulton. Hope that all of you understood the thing which they were doing, and Matthew Boulton helped James Watt to make the steam engine which could work more properly. Okay. Now today we are going to, and by 1800, Boulton and Watt sold 700 engines and 300 rotary engines. Today we are going to study page number 3. Second point of the key moment, which is starting the factory system, which was, and the main person was Richard Awkward. Okay, may I have the volunteer for the reading, please? Okay, Zaid, you start reading.
Starting the factory system, Richard Arkwright. Arkwright, born in 732, was the youngest of a large family. He had little or no education and set himself up as a barber and wig maker. Not far from Manchester, keen to get rich, he made also many enemies during his life. Very interested in how machinery could improve the making of cotton yarn, he borrowed, some people said stole, the ideas of friend to make sure a machine known as a water frame. Moreover, he succeeded in getting Lancashire businessmen Lancashire businessmen to help him set up the first real industrial factory at Cromford, southeast of Manchester. Here he placed his water frames powered by nearby stream. The
Nearby
local
stream.
Nearby stream. The local
okay,
people
thank you. Thank you, Zaid. Thank you. Okay, yes. Hurulana, can you continue, beta?
The local people, men, women, and children worked the machines to produce yarn and cloth. The Cromford factory was successful and Arkwright built more factories in England and Scotland. The later ones were powered by steam engines. Arkwright died in 1792, a very rich, if not greatly loved man.
Okay, thank you. So Arkwright was the person who born in 1732, and he was the youngest of the family, of a very large family. Youngest means सबसे छोटा बच्चा था ये, and he had very little or no education. So he set himself up as a barber or wig maker. You know what barber is? The hair cutter, right? As he was not educated, so that's why he okay, Bibi Ashraf. Now, so he set him up as a barber and a wig maker, right? And which was not very far from Manchester. Now, the thing is that everyone wanted to become rich. So that was the thought in Arkwright's mind. So he wanted to become rich. So what he did was that he was very interested in making or improving the machinery of cotton yarn. Cotton yarn, we have discussed this, कि जो धागे होते हैं, जो पूरे reels होते हैं धागों के, that is cotton yarn. So he was very interested in that to improve the machinery which makes the cotton yarn. So अगर cotton yarn अच्छा बनेगा तो उसका cotton के जो कपड़े हैं वो भी अच्छे बनेंगे. The cloth would be made very in a very improved manner. So what he did that he borrowed, and some said that he stole that ideas from the friends to make such a machine, right? Some people were saying that he borrowed the idea, and some people were saying that he stole that idea from his friends to make the machine, which was known as the water frame. What water frame did was that water frame को पानी में रखा जाता था, और पानी की जो speed थी, the stream of that river, from that जो है वो पूरी machine जो है घूमती थी और वो energy वहां से लेती थी. ठीक है? So moreover, he succeeded in getting Lancashire businessmen to help him to set up the first real industrial factory at Cromford. Cromford made first industry of, you can underline this, That first real industry of cotton factory was built in, or you can say set up in Cromford, which is near southeast of Manchester. And again वही बात है, here he placed a water frame in the nearby stream, क्योंकि वो पानी के पास था तो उसने water frame को stream में रखा और फिर उसकी मदद से उसने पूरी अपनी जो है वो machines को चलाना शुरू किया. So before steam, ये वही वाली बात है कि before steam, the machineries were used to work by the help of wind and water energy. Okay. So what happened later on that the Cromford factory was successful and Arkwright built more factories in England and then Scotland. After the first factory, which was built in Cromford, he made more factories and he was very successful. And later later ones, like those factories which were built later on, they were powered by steam engine. Okay, but initially it was powered by water energy, and then later on it was the factories were powered by steam engine. Okay, so now when Quart died in 1792, he was a very rich man.
Beginning the railway age, George and Robert Stephenson. The steam engine as a locomotive was next put on wheels and used to move goods and people at high speeds over long distance. Of all these developments, the growth of railways was probably the most important. A number of inventors designed locomotives and used them to pull loads along rails in the early 19th century, mainly in the coal field, but it was George Stephenson and his son Robert who turned them into efficient and money-making railways.
Thank you, Josefa. Okay, Ji. So beginning the railway age. Now the third important point was the beginning of the railway age. ठीक है? सबसे पहले तो जो है steam engine बना, फिर उसके बाद जो है factories बनी, then steam railway age was started. Okay, steam engine के बनने के बाद it was put next on wheels. ठीक है, steam engine जब बन गया तो उन्होंने उसको wheels पे रखा और फिर railway बनाने की कोशिश की, right? And used to move goods from goods and people from at a very high speed. ज़ाहिर है, as compared to the car, railway moves very fast. Okay, so they use the steam engine for the faster movement, and the longer distance could be covered in a very shorter time. Yes, for my class, Muhammad Ali, Ziauddin, Bhaskar, Mahad, and Abir, they are absent. Okay, so what happened next then? Now this development of the railways growth, it helped a lot. How? कि बहुत सारे लोगों ने उसमें इन्वेस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया, ठीक है? Now this investment जो है, it helped them a lot to earn the capital, we can say. And a number of inventors designed locomotives and used them to pull the loads. Locomotives क्या होता है? Engines of the rail, we can say. Okay. Now George Stephenson and his son Robert turned the steam engine into a very efficient and money-making railways. How? That we are going to read now. Ziauddin, are you ready to read, beta? Okay, Bhaskar, can you read? Do you have book with you, Bhaskar? Okay, start reading.
George made sure that his son Robert had a good education and the son too became an excellent engineer. Robert helped his father build the Liverpool to Manchester Railway, a huge step forward as Manchester was the leading industrial city. The Liverpool, one of Britain's greatest ports, the owners recognized a competition for the best locomotive, which was won by the Stephenson's rocket. The Stephensons were now famous as the leading railway engineers in the world. The locomotive company Newcastle, Robert Stephenson and Company went from strength to strength.
Thank you, thank you. Now what happened that George and his son Robert, right? They were the important names in the history of railway. Okay, George make sure that his son got the education, and he became the son. Robert became a very excellent engineer. Okay, and Robert helped his father to build the Liverpool Manchester railways. Liverpool to Manchester's. Okay, you can see that the distance from the Liverpool to Manchester on page number 2, figure number 1.2. So लिवरपूल से मैनचेस्टर तक पहली रेलवे जो है वो उन्होंने बनाई फिर, and it was a very huge step as the Manchester was the leading industrial city. Industrial city में अगर हम easily आ जा सके तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी we can say that achievement होती है किसी भी country के लिए, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री में लोग इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया है तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग जाके काम करेंगे, और वहाँ लोगों के लिए जाने आने के लिए अगर हम एक स्पीडी सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर दें तो वो आपके लिए भी बेनिफिट है, और फॉर दैट कंट्री इट इज आल्सो बेनिफिशियल. सो द ओनर इज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड competition for the best locomotive. Okay, and the Liverpool was one of the Britain's greatest port. लिवरपूल जो है वो पोर्ट था, जैसे कराची एक पोर्ट है, इट इज beside near the sea. So in the same way लिवरपूल is near the sea, तो वो भी एक पोर्ट था, और वहां पर लिवरपूल से पोर्ट से चीजें मैनचेस्टर तक ले जाने के लिए अगर रेलवे डेवलप किया था तो इट वाज अ वेरी यू कैन से कि बेस्ट एक्ट एट दैट टाइम. अब क्या हुआ कि कंपटीशन अरेंज किया गया फॉर द बेस्ट लोकोमोटिव. लोकोमोटिव यानी इंजन्स के लिए, और वो कंपटीशन किसने जीता था? Write in the chat box the competition which was won by whom? In the chat box, please, beta, quickly. Yes, Fatima, correct answer. Bhaskar, correct answer. And Urulaina, correct answer. So Stephenson's rocket was the winner of that competition. Okay, and it was the first engine of the steam railways, first railways engine. Okay. Now what happened that? Okay, the Stephenson were now famous as the leading railway engineer in the world. After winning that competition, the Stephenson, they became the leading engineer of the world. And their locomotive company in Newcastle, Robertson, Stephen and Company, went from strength to strength. Newcastle में इनकी company थी, which was named as Robert Stephenson and Company. ये नाम था इनकी company का, और मजीद जो है वो it started gaining the strength after that winning that competition. So let's read the info box. Abir, can you read, beta?
George Stephenson was born in 1781. He had no education, but he was so good with machines that he became an engineer at a colliery in the Durham area. He began to design and make his own locomotives, which became well known for their reliability. Local businessmen wished to build a railway line from Stockton to Darlington to carry their coal to the sea. George Stephenson supervised the building of the railway and designed its locomotives. The Stockton to Darlington line was opened in 1825, the first proper railway in the world.
Okay. Now, while I'm explaining this, you people just start have a look on figure number 1.2, जो इनका map बना हुआ है Britain का, ठीक है? Now they are saying that George Stephenson was born in 1781. Okay, and he was very good with machines and became engineer, and he worked at colliery, which colliery is the coal mine के पास जो भी area होता है ना, that is colliery. So in Durham area, now he began to design and make his own locomotive, which became well known for their reliability. Well known for their reliability, यानी इसके बनाए हुए जॉर्ज स्टीफनसन के बनाए हुए जो लोकोमोटिव या जो इंजन थे वो बहुत रिलायबल होते थे. ओके। जो लोकल बिजनेसमैन थे वहां के, दे विश टू बिल्ड अ रेलवे फ्रॉम स्टॉकटन टू डार्लिंगटन. You can see that Stockton to Darlington in figure 1.2 page number 2. So इन दोनों शहरों के दरमियान जो है वहाँ के जो बिजनेसमैन थे, they wanted a railway track from Stockton to Darlington and to carry the coal to the sea. Okay, यानी डार्लिंगटन से लेके स्टॉकटन तक उनको एक वो चाहिए था, डार्लिंगटन से वो कोल अपने शिफ्ट करते टू स्टॉकटन, ताकि वहां से वो सी के जरिए एक जगह से दूसरी जगह अपने कोयला जो है वो ले जा सके. So George Stephenson supervised that in building the railway and designed the locomotive, and the Stockton to Darlington line was opened in 1825, the first proper railway in the world. Okay, इससे पहले तो छोटी छोटी जगहों पे जा रहे थे, but the first proper railway, पूरी रेल अगर हम बात करें, पहले तो सिर्फ स्टीम इंजन्स चल रहे थे. So पूरी रेलवे जो है वो first time in the world was developed or done in 1825. Okay, so let's complete the next paragraph और फिर इसके बाद we are going to share the points. ठीक है? Yes. किसने? फातिमा नदीम.
The development of the railway network. The railway was a great success. Travel was now faster, more reliable than by canal or on horseback, and also cheaper, so goods and people could be moved around the country in a way not possible before. Towns across Britain demanded a railway link, and businessmen were pleased to invest money as they were confident of making profits. Now lines snaked across the land. In 1840, there were about 1,500 miles. In 1870, 13,000 miles, and in 1900, with 19,000 miles of line, there was hardly a town without its own railway station.
Okay, thank you. So after that, the development of a railway network took place. Okay, or it was a very great success. और लोग जो हैं वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह अपनी चीजें, they wanted their goods to be transferred from one place to another place. Plus, it was very cheaper also, and more reliable than by the canal or by the horseback. जाहिर सी बात है, एक horseback पे अगर हम लेकर जाएं चीजें तो बहुत थोड़ी होती, लिमिटेड होती, बट इफ वही चीजें हम रेलवे से लेकर जाएं सो हम बहुत ज्यादा चीजें लेके जा सकते हैं. द गुड्स कुड बी ट्रांसफर्ड इन अ ह्यूज अमाउंट एंड इन वेरी लेस टाइम. Okay, the time consumed by the railways as compared to the horseback was very less, and it was very cheaper also. Okay, and towns across the Britain demanded that railways हमारे town में भी चाहिए. पूरे Britain में जो है उन्होंने demand करनी शुरू कर दी that we need the railways in our time also. So and the businessmen were very happy that if they are going to invest in the railway business, तो उनके पास जो है, जब demand किसी चीज की ज्यादा होती है बेटा, तो उसमें आपके पास जो है supply भी ज्यादा आती है, plus your capital is also increased. So अगर ब्रिटेन में डिमांड की गई थी एट द टाइम दैट रेलवे शुड बी देयर इन द सिटीज, सो अगर इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो आपका जो है वो कैपिटल इट विल इंक्रीज. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड दैट न्यू लाइंस स्नेक्ड अक्रॉस द लैंड, यानी पूरे ब्रिटेन में जो है जस्ट लाइक स्नेक, अगर हम बात करें इट्स अ फिगरेटिव स्पीच कि अगर स्नेक की तरह पूरे ब्रिटेन में जो है वो एक रेलवे का जाल बिछना शुरू हो गया. In 1840, there was about 1,500 miles, and in 1870, 13,000 miles की रेलवे बनाई, मतलब इतनी लंबी डिस्टेंस कवर किया. फिर 1900 में 19,000 miles की रेलवे ट्रैक जो है वो इन्होंने डन किया था और बनाया था. So we are going to stop it over here, giving you 2 minutes, and then after that, start sharing the points.